Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acton Creative, and this is a handwoven experience, episode 96. And in this episode, we're going to take a quick peek at Leno. Have you heard of Leno before? Leno is a hand-manipulated lace weave. Now, technically, us weavers, we're not actually making lace, but we're making lacy patterns. And we can do that one of two ways. One is something like a Bronson or a spot Bronson, some of those where you just set up the loom a certain way and toss shuttle and you're off and running. But the other option is to use a hand manipulated pattern. And that's what Leno is. And what that means is pretty much you're going to use your fingers and you're going to twist your warp yarns the way you want and then go from there. So when I say hand manipulated, it is literally you're going to put your shuttle down, pick up your pickup stick, and you are going to manipulate your warp yarns that way. So let's start with, how do you set up your loom? What are you looking for? You first of all want to make sure that your warp yarns the tension is looser. Not so they're like way sagging, but looser than you normally would, because you're going to be in here picking things up, twisting things around. You want to make sure the yarns have a little bit of give to them. So loose warp, that's the first thing to look for. Next is you are going to want to use a very slim shuttle, like a stick shuttle. When I first started playing with it, I grabbed my boat shuttle like I normally would, and let me tell you, no. You don't want to use something that's that tall. You want to use something that's nice and slim. So your stick shuttle, this is where it's really going to come in handy. Okay, the last piece of kind of the setup is floating selvages. And this is a do as I say, not as I do, because I was playing with this and I did not put in floating selvages, and it is not good. Let me tell you, the edges are going to draw in a lot. So help yourself out, put in a pair of floating selvages, one on each side, and that is going to help keep your project the width that you want versus it kind of narrowing in each time you do more of the actual kind of Leno, that part of it. So at this point, I'm going to bring you in really close, and we're going to see what this Leno actually looks like. All right, my friends, here we are nice and close to the fabric so you can see all of the action. With Leno, it's really all about the twist. And we want to first decide how big of a bunch we want to twist over each other. So for instance, here is a little section where I just did one yarn, twisted over another. Nice, right? Nice and fine. This one is a little chunkier. So I took 3 yarns, I twisted it over the next 3 yarns. So you kind of have to decide how big of a bunch you want to work with. Now, let me just tell you, this part took a lot longer than this part did. So keep that in mind as you're playing with Leno weave here. Okay, so one of the other things I want to mention is that I'm going to do this on a closed shed, which means that my warp yarns aren't separated at all. They're all on the same plane. There is another method where you can open up your shed and you can grab your yarns from there. So as you start to play with Leno on your end, keep in mind that you have some options there for how you manipulate your warp yarns. So here is how we're going to do this. I am going to do groupings of 3. So I'm going to take 3 yarns, and the next 3 yarns, I'm going to twist them over each other. So here's what that looks like. I'm going to start at the edge right here, and I am actually going to mark off the first 6 yarns. So here's what I have. I have the outside one. This is the one closest to the edge, and then the next grouping. Now, this one here, I'm going to twist it over. So it's kind of, we're switching spots. Then I'm going to bring this guy up again. So I'm going to take my stick right here, and I'm going to slide that right in. So I'm going to come to the next grouping of 6, divide it in half. I'm going to twist the guys around and put that in there. Now, there's going to be little twists that start to show up right there. And you may not be able to see it with the black so well. So let me do a few more so you can see it with the gray. And once you start doing this, my friends, you will get into the groove and you will see instantly kind of how the little twists develop. See that right there? We'll do just a few more so you can see it. I'm going to pull out my next grouping of 6, split it in half, move the far side around just like that. We'll do this guy. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counting. There's a lot of counting. Okay. See my little twist right there? That's a good spot right there. we'll spin this around just like this. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to do the rest of this row, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like to proceed from there. Hold that thought. Okay, and with the magic of video, this whole row is all finished. I have all my little twists happening right here. My pickup stick runs the whole length or the width of the fabric. So at this point now, we need to make space for the weft yarn to come through. So give this a twist so you're making your own, see that? You're making your own kind of handmade shed space. I'm going to move that to the back there. Then I'm going to take my stick shuttle, okay, and I'm going to send that guy through, trying not to bump the camera just as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to send that through like that. And I'm going to actually use my pickup stick kind of as a beater bar here. Now, keep in mind what I told you earlier, a floating selvage would be really handy here. So when you decide to try some Leno, put in some floating selvages. Okay, so it's kind of moving that forward, and then I'm just going to slide this guy out. And here's where I'm actually going to just give it another kind of, give it a little help. And then I actually just want to put some kind of plain weave on the other side of this. So I'm going to take my shuttle, make sure I have enough yarn out. There we go. Okay. I'm going to send that through the other way. You could, if you wanted to, go ahead and tighten your warp back up at this stage. That is totally kind of personal preference. And then we'll do another, let me just show you what that looks like. Send that back through. There we go. So from there, then you're going to put in a couple rows of plain weave. Or at least, well, okay, that's what I would recommend, is some plain weave, just to kind of help with the overall structure. And then when you're ready, you come back in with your pickup stick and do another row. That is all there is to it, my friends. So I hope that gives you just a little idea of what it's like to do some Leno weave. It's just meant to be a quick peek. Here's what I would recommend is that when you're ready, go ahead and give it a go. There's all kinds of variations too, so you can really play with all the different components about how big the bunches are. There's different ways to twist them. You can have one in the middle. It's all kinds of fun. But I wanted to make sure that you had just a quick peek into what it was like to do a little hand manipulated Leno lace. All right, my friends, keep me posted if you try this and how you like it. It's a lot of fun. Have a wonderful week. Happy weaving.